Hey tubers, so today, quickly before we have our hurricane, I'm going to change my front brakes because I have to drive in this crap tomorrow. So I have my ferrocarbon Hawk Performance pads, and I have my Power Stop slotted rotors. I got them all from Summit Racing. These were like 53 bucks a piece, and these I think were like 75 bucks or something like that. So I'll put these on. I already changed one of the calipers a couple of weeks ago when I was thinking I was having front brake issues. It was actually the passenger side rear wheel that was locking up because the pads in the rotor were, the pads in the drum were glazed. So those will be getting changed next. So the calipers that I have right now are in pretty good shape, so I'm going to leave them on there and see what happens, and if I need to change them, I will change them. So here's a closer look. These are what the pads look like here. Right in there, standard F150 looking pad. And this is the driver's side rotor. Nice, heavy duty, thick, meaty rotor. So hopefully that combination will make the truck stop nice again. We're going to work on the passenger side first. You can see I've already got it jacked up. Bolts already loose on the tire. Got to pull the tire off, and then there are two 15mm bolts that hold the caliper to the knuckle, and I'll pull those out, pull the pads out, throw the new pads in, throw the rotor on, and put it all back together. So I've got the wheel off, and I stand corrected. These bolts that hold the caliper to the knuckle are actually 18mm bolts, and I'm going to pull those off, put the caliper aside, put my new rotor on, knock the pads out of the caliper, put the new pads in, and we'll put it all back together. Alright, so now I got the caliper off, and the rotor comes off really easily. It just kind of slides. You gotta kind of walk it off. Behind there is your wheel bearing. This is where the drive axle goes through, and yeah, and the caliper's back there. So let me go get my new rotor and put that on. Alright, so I got my new rotor on. I got a lug nut holding it on, so it's in place. Now I got to change the pads in the caliper. These are kind of hard to change the pads in because there are some spring clips, and they're really hard to get everything to line up correctly at once. So they take a little bit of practice to do. I'm still not great at them. It takes me a little bit to do them, but hopefully I'll get those in and I can show you how to change them. So here's what a new ferrocarbon pad looks like from Hawk. See the other ones in the box. It's very grippy, so hopefully it will help the truck stop a little better than the ceramic pads. I don't like the sliding feeling with the ceramic pads, especially when they get wet. So hopefully this helps it. But I also don't like the semi-metallic pads because they tend to get glazed. What happens with the semi-metallic pads when you have squeaking, and sometimes, in my case, in the rear tire back there, or rear wheel, they get glazed. So the rotor or the drum gets glazed along with the pads. So you have two shiny surfaces going against one another, and they squeak, and they can cause lockup, and it's just all around bad design. You need to be careful when you put these on because you need to make sure you put the right pad on the right size. They're the same physical size, except this one has a wear indicator on it. So you want to make sure that goes on the front, or in the front of the caliper, so that you can see it when you pull the tire. So these are my old pads, and you can see they're pretty worn. Matter of fact, they were so worn I had to pull the wear indicator off because I just didn't have the extra cash to straighten them out at the time. But they're really bad, and this is all the new stuff. I am going to have to rebleed at least this corner because I had to push the dual pistons back, and I was trying to do it without taking the clips out here because these are really tricky to get back in, but because they've been in there for a few thousand miles now, because I changed this caliper a little while ago, they're embedded now, so they're not as bad as they were when they were new. So I ended up breaking the bleed screw open here just to push the pistons back so I could get the calipers, get the pistons back so they get the pads in and get the pads around the rotor, because they obviously had a lot more meat. So hopefully this will help the truck to stop better. I've got to do the other side yet. Alright, so we're pretty much going to do the same thing to this side. Take the tire off, take the two 18mm bolts out of the caliper, pull the pads, pull the rotor, swap them, push the pistons back, bolt it all back up. May have to rebleed the system. and put it back together. So guys, you can see I got the brakes on the driver's side now. Same setup pretty much. And I'm going to bleed them again and see how they feel. Hey guys, so it's raining pretty hard here. We're starting to get rain from the hurricane and crap. Just got the brakes on and bled in time. Look like a wet dog. Then the wire off the brake light switch let go. And or it fell off probably when I had my sister pump the brakes to bleed them, and so I had to just make a quick repair on that in the rain. That was fun. So I'll have to show you how to break the brakes in later on because it's just really crappy here. So stay tuned for more info. If you're in the hurricane area, be safe, have fun. Bye.